All right, guys, welcome back. So this will be part two of poor man's guide on how to rebuild heads, port heads, modify heads. You know. So last time I was with you, yesterday for me. I don't know when exactly this video will post, but we went through, cleaned up all these casting flashes and these rough edges on the heads. Went through and smoothed these edges out on the combustion chambers. Just, kind of lightened up the head a little bit. Got rid of these sharp edges so that there wasn't no pre-detonation. Just, cleaned them up, made them look a little bit better. I will paint these heads before I install them on the motor, so just made them nice and clean. But now, so today, what I'm going to do is, you see right here, all these ports, I'm going to go through and clean them up. So like right here, you see how it's got this very sharp just edge where the bottom of this valve seat went whenever they ground in these valve seats from the factory. That's something I'm going to knock down. Just, give it a little tickle to where it's nice, smooth transition. And right here, this is also a sharp edge, and just pretty much all around the bottom of that valve seat, that's where I'm going to just go through and give her a little tickle of, a little cut down, smooth it, give it a nice radius. Then these valve guides as well, like where these valve guides are in the head, what I'll do is I'll take and let me show you. So how it's got that sharp edge right there, I'll just go and round that off as well all the way around so that whenever air's going past it, it won't kind of get caught and kind of slipstream into it. So it's kind of more of a smooth transition going through. Nothing too major, but overall it does help. It may gain a CFM or two, or it may gain 10. I don't know. I don't have no flow bench or anything fancy. I'm just doing this by what I know of airflow characteristics. So I'm going to set it up, do another time lapse for y'all. I'm going to show you after I get these two ports done, show you what the finished outcome looks like. Let me get a flashlight out so that you can see what it looks like before and after. So as you can see how it looks, it just got that sharp edge, had the sharp edge on the side of that intake valve right here. And the valve guide right there and right here, just go and cut those down, give them a nice little radius. And I'm going to do that for each one of these, but I'll show you what the finished product looks like whenever I get done with this cylinder here. All right. So, as you can see, let me pull out my flashlight again. All I did was take out the edge pretty much everywhere. I did get this right here down as low as I could. It's still got a little lip, but that's as close as I want to get to it, honestly. But all I did was just take off this edge leading into the valve seat. Make sure, if y'all are trying this at home, do not, and I repeat, try your hardest, do not get into this valve seat right here. Let me take this seat right here where it kind of radiuses out. right through here. That piece right there is where the valve seals. Now, if it just gets very, very minor nick, that could be all right once you lap the valve, see if it goes away. If not, you will need to get new valve seats put in. And, you know, that's something that everybody really wants to avoid. Unless you're going to have to get new valve seats anyway. Then, you know, go hog wild, do whatever you want with it. But me, I'm going to stick with these original valve seats. I did not nick them anywhere that I can tell. All I did was, again, just radius this out a little bit. And I did clean up down here on these valve guides. I just made it a little swoop. But I'm going to finish up here, do the rest of these cylinders, and I'll catch up with you whenever I get this head done. So, finish this head up. I went ahead and done all these ports. I also went back and went through each of these exhaust ports and just cleaned them up a little bit. They wasn't bad, but they just had a lot of rust that had accumulated, some pitting and stuff that I just want to smooth up. I mean, right here you can see there's some pitting still in there, but I mean, I just cleaned it up to a little bit, you know, nothing massive. Didn't change the way the ports were shaped, didn't change any of that. I just went through and cleaned up everything, made everything a nice smooth radius around these valve seats, went through and made sure that all these was nice, and I wouldn't say polished. I definitely wouldn't say polished. I'm just smoother than what they were, you know, nothing massive. But here I ain't got my headlights so I can see a bit better. But here, if y'all can see, right, well, let me try this again. What I mostly did was go through each of these valve seats and just cut it down to where it's nice and flush with the rest of the port. This is the first cylinder that I did, first couple ports that I did. It's nothing major, but it does help, you know, like, and don't be afraid. Go through each one. Don't worry so much about the first one. Just learn what you're wanting to do with each port and then go back and redo them. Like I pretty much after every cylinder, I go back and fix this one a bit better to how I figured out how to do this one. Then whenever I done this one, I went back to these first two and, you know, just massaged it in a shape that I was happy with. You know, there's no sharp corners anywhere in these ports. And not only that, but this, I had a little lip right here. Let's see. Yeah, right there. I had a little lip right there from where they cut the valve seat right there. It's still got a little one. I'm not going to worry about that one as much because it's just so minute. But there was a pretty big one right there. I'll see if there's one on this head to show y'all. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. So I haven't touched this head yet. This is just how it was originally. But as you can see, there's just a big kind of lip right there. So what I did, I just came through and I just smoothed it down. You know, got it to where it's nice and happily smooth. That way the transition from this port all the way up in here and just nice and progressive. And this port in particular, and I think, yeah, no, just this one had that really bad like catch right there. The rest of them wasn't all that bad. But I, again, just went through, just smoothed it all out. And the key is be slow. Don't get in a hurry. Don't rush yourself because, you know, you can take material away easily. It's a lot rougher to go back and add material. And quite honestly, it might not even be worth the time with some sets of heads. So don't try and change the shape of the port. Don't try and change just the flow characteristics of it. Just do minor things like this, and it'll help tremendously. You know, you may pick up 5-10 horsepower just by, you know, cleaning those up so the air can flow more directly into the cylinder. Now, you know, I'm no expert, so don't take everything I say as gold, but You know, this is just stuff that I've learned over porting a few sets of heads and just seeing how that performance increases. Those aluminum sets of heads that I put on my 350 last year, they done wonderful. And all I did was just clean up those bowls right here, the valve seat, I mean. I just cleaned that up to where it just flowed in a bit better, and I removed all the casting flash. That's all I did. That's not to say that those heads, you know, would have performed excellent by themselves, but little things like that really does help. You know, I don't have no concrete proof of that because I don't have no way of flow testing these heads. I don't have no flow bench. I don't have the resources to do that. But this is just, you know, poor man's rebuild. Just rebuild it and go with it. You know, I like getting as much performance as I can out of stuff like this, just for fun. But again, just smooth these ports out, these valve seats. You know, don't get into this right here, this little fine line right there. That little fine line right there is the valve seat, and that is also right here in the exhaust, the intake, exhaust. You know, and some valves or some chambers will have a smaller valve seat right there, like this first cylinder right here. It's got really tiny, at what, probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch maybe, and little things like that. As long as you avoid that, you will be good. You won't have to, you know, have any machine work done to these to your sets of heads, other than what's necessary for your build. Like maybe you want to deck the block and, you know, get these heads decked, or, you know, mill so many thousandths off or whatever. But as far as your valve seats, you won't have to replace them unless, you know, you're building a tow rig and you need those hardened valve seats. But, you know, for a street car, this will be fine. But I'm going to go ahead and start on this other set of heads. I probably won't get that finished. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go blow this set of heads off and show y'all how to lap valves and measure your clearance. Peace. All right, guys. So I took it over there to the garage and just took a air hose and sprayed it down, just cleaned it all out, used, you know, nice bit of air pressure, and just made sure those valve guides was nice and clean, or yeah, valve guides, and just went through, blowed all the dust out, because that's one thing you don't want going down into your valve guides is you know, dust or grit or anything really, because that'll wear them out. You know, you'll start burning oil. You'll have to tear down your heads and put down new valve guides. So I just went through, blowed it all out, blew out all the passages, even the coolant passages, the head bolt passages, everything. Whether I, you know, had put a drill there or not, I just blew it out, even through all the bolt holes. Made sure this thing was nice and clean. So I've got right here the original intake and original exhaust valves. You know, I didn't even go through and clean it up with a wire wheel or anything, just to show y'all it's not all that necessary. I mean, gas will come through and kind of eat all this soot off a bit, you know, run some barium or something. But, you know, for demonstration purposes, these are perfect. You know, honestly, I'll probably ignore that I've seen this and just put them in anyway. But anyway, so getting on with it, how to lap your valves. It's really a simple process. Get this back to where y'all can see it. So lapping your valves, all that you really have to do is take the valve here, take some valve lapping compound. You make sure to get a paper towel first though. So get you a paper towel, some valve lapping compound, just get a little tickle, you know, don't need much. Just put it around this edge of the valves right here. But you'll see where it's been rubbing, so that's where the valve seat contacts it. And you just want to put this all along it. You know, some people just put a little squirt on it and call it good. Myself like to just make sure it's nice and covered. Once you get it in there, you'll feel it's quite gritty. That's what it is, that cutting compound in it. Just give it a nice, you know, make sure it's nice and covered. Then just take and feed it into that valve guide. There you go. And now what I like to do is take my drill, which I'll have to stand up the head for this. It gets a little rough trying to do it while sitting down. But stand up your head. And all you want to do is attach your drill to the end of the valve, so like so. It's a thick valve. See, so I've got my drill attached to it. All I want to do is just pull back a little bit, start spinning it. And you'll notice whenever it, you know, it's pretty much done cutting, as it'll change tone from like a really aggressive sound to kind of like a smooth. So like right there. I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but then all you want to do is take off your drill, slide it out. Make sure, try not to get any valve lapping compound on your valve through here, because whenever you put your valve back in, that valve lapping compound will eat that valve guide up. So just give her a wipe this valve down, and you'll see where it's wanting to mate with it. It'll be nice and shiny. See, so right there where that original valve, well, yeah, that's where the original valve wanted to seat on originally, and now it just lapped right back in the same spot. So that valve's ready. Go back in, just wipe the valve itself, the valve seat down. You know, real good. You don't want that crap everywhere. And as y'all can see, it's nice and shiny, you know, before and after. It's still got a little bit of pitting in there, but it's perfectly fine. And then all you want to do is put your valve back in. Make sure it's nice and clean. I don't want any of that valve lapping compound in those guides. Put it in. And that valve, that's where it's going to be, I should say. So now, you know, if you're ready, you can go ahead and put your valve spring on it. You know, put your valve spring back on it with your retainer and keeper, or you can finish up and then put them in at the last step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my valve spring in and my retainer. I'm going to wipe them down with a paper towel first, so I'll be right back. So now we're ready to put this valves back in, or this first valve, the exhaust valve. Then I'll do the rest off camera and show y'all the finished result. But all you need is one of these nice good swap meet specials, or, you know, O'Reilly's Advance Auto. They sell a little spring compressor that grabs onto the spring and compresses it. Kind of like, let me show you. Kind of grabs it, each of the cools, and just tightens it down and compresses it with the cools. This kind, you just slide it over the valve. Put your retainer. Then you just want to, you know, course, you're going to be a lot better at this than I am. Just put it all together and take your compressor and compress the spring, and take your 2 keepers. Slide them in to the groove. Oh, hell. I think one side caught, yep. Just gotta jimmy it around. Well, you know, one side did catch. Here, let me get it a little tighter. Compress it a bit better. There we go. I just didn't have it tightened up enough. So you put both your keepers in. Well, don't do like me and drop it everywhere. So if you are like me and clumsy with your hands and drop it, just wipe it off. She's still good. Then you just want to ease out on this. There you go. The valve's installed. Now, see, these exhaust valves on this head don't have no valve seals. If it did, you'd put your valve seal on, then put your your valve in and spring and retainer. But with my heads, the exhaust valves, none of the exhaust valves have valve seals. So all the intakes will put a little valve seal in, then put my spring and retainer on and keepers, and go about it like that. I'll probably do a time lapse of me doing the rest of these and just show y'all how it's done. Okay, phone time. See, perfect. Phone time. So I did get my head done on the exhaust valve anyway, side, except for the last one. Okay, I got 3 valves done out of 8. I know it sounds pretty pitiful. Anyway, so what I did, I went ahead and done these 3 exhaust valves. I did an intake valve without realizing, hey, I didn't have my valve seals with me. So instead of going out of my way and going and getting them, I went ahead and finished up the exhaust valves except for this very last one. The reason I didn't put it all the way together is I plan on showing you all how to measure your spring height, installed height. So whenever you put the spring in, of course, it's going to be compressed a bit, and that'll give you your seat pressure. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm done for the day since I've got to still port this head and everything, and I'm just out of time. So what I'm going to do is next time that I come down here, I'm going to show you all how to, first, I'm going to put this retainer on with the keepers, pull it all the way out. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So grab a couple keepers, and you just want to put them on. Nothing too hard. This Buick, it's only got 1 slot. Small block Chevys, I know at least small block Chevys, they've got multiple slots on some makes and models. Make sure that you are putting the keepers in the right slot. I did goof on that once, and I put it where the valve seal was supposed to go. It's no big deal, but you will have a lot more, like the keepers or retainer will be down here and give you a lot less installed height. So, let's see. Put your keepers in. Then right here, I can measure from the valve seat right there all the way up to the bottom of this retainer. And that'll tell me exactly how much my install height will be. And then I can put this in a vise, push it all, or clamp it all the way together where it's completely solid. So that's cool bind. Measure that and subtract the cool bind height from my installed height, and that'll give me my maximum lift with a cam with these springs. You know, take 50 thousandths off just to be sure. That way you don't get into cool bind, because that's the last thing you want to do is get into cool bind, bust out a retainer, drop a valve, boom, there goes your motor. So anyway, I'll show you all how to do that whenever I come back down here. So I'll see you all in a little bit. Peace.